like pumping around the town like when you're driving a Range Rover. Expanding the horizon, expanding the parameters, expanding rhymes of sucker MC amateur. Inaugurating new and scientific easy. A Ben Franklin with a kite, a getting over with the key. A rock shucking the mic of the many times the times table. Well, to tell the spell all of the old fables. I've been jumping the new site and I've been kicking the new knowledge. And I see to a degree that you can't get in college. Now the drag of the earth and the eggs that I eat, I got pegs through my head, one through my shade. Stay the young, the rage the young, E-F-D square. Kick out of the palladium. You think that I care? It's the sound of science. The sound of science. Science. Robot don't. Waxing and billion. All of your sweat.
There's a lot of controversy about the ping pong.
I'm so rope. They call me Mr. Robo when the troubles arise. You know I'm the cool go-ball. Seeds in the back of the black seed and it feel good. We can reach out and touch it like a real life dream and make you feel good. The sound of your face like a big machine and makes you feel good. Sure sounds stale, but it sure sounds neat and makes you feel good. Here we come to get ya, and we're glad we met ya, and we're gonna let ya. Feel good. Feel good. Feel good. Feel good. Poetry in motion, poetry in motion, poetry in motion, poetry in motion.
My only weapon is my pen. I'm sure
Poetry in motion, poetry in motion, poetry in
I'm a songwriter. I'm poet.
poetry in motion, poetry in motion.
I'm a
It's every other Friday, so that means it's time for another episode of the very exciting, the very thrilling, the very informative, the very attractive, the mildly sexy, the somewhat repetitive, yet totally original 7 songs. Hi, with me, the guy with the pants and the tie. How's everybody? Let us know in the chat, as always, if the sound is okay, if the video is okay, if you are feeling okay, if you're happy, if things are where they need to be in your life, and if they're not where they need to be, hopefully by the end of our little get together here, they'll be closer. They'll be closer to where they need to be. Today is episode 20 of 7 songs / 13 songs, but you know the deal. Tonight, the theme is secret covers. What does that mean? What is a secret cover? Well, a secret cover is a cover song that maybe you didn't realize was a cover song. It turns out there's a significant number of songs that are people just assume the person that made them popular is the person that first did them. And I managed to find 7 ones that were pretty cool examples of songs that maybe you know aren't covers, but most people would assume, oh, I thought that artist did it first. And I'm going to start right away with song number 1. And this is a song that people assume Elvis Costello and the Attractions did first. on their album Armed Forces from 1979, but they did not. This was actually written by Nick Lowe for his band that was called Brinsley Schwarz. Brinsley Schwarz? Who the hell ever heard of that? So they recorded this first, and then Elvis took it. And although I'll get more into details about how it all worked, I want to get a song underway. Here it is by Nick Lowe, popularized by Elvis Costello and the Attractions. This is what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding. What a perfect way to start today. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? And each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I want to know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? As I walk on through troubled times, my spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. So where are the strong? And who are the trusted? And where is the harmony, sweet harmony? Oh, 'cause each time I feel I'd slip away, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? So where are the strong? And who are the trusted? And where is the harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel it slip away, it just makes me wanna cry. I said, what's so fun about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so fun about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so fun about peace, love, and understanding? So Nick Lowe wrote that song for his band Brinsley Schwarz back in 1974. And then he re-recorded it as a B-side for a solo record he did. It was the B-side to his single American Squirm, another tune I never heard of. But it wasn't Nick Lowe singing on the B-side, it was actually Elvis Costello and the Attractions. They recorded it as Nick Lowe's B-side. And then, when Elvis had his first record come out, the Armed Forces, or not, it wasn't his first record, but Armed Forces came out, they threw it onto Armed Forces, and it became one of his biggest hits. So there you go, in case you didn't know. It's interesting enough also, the B section, each time I feel like this inside, just makes me want to know, is the same chords as the middle of the Assumption. So it's G, it's a D with an F sharp in the bass, D minor with an F in the bass, and then a C with an E in the bass. So the bass is doing this cool thing of going down note by note. But the chords aren't doing that. The chords aren't going chromatically. What you're doing is you're doing a G with a G in the bass, a D with an F sharp in the bass, a D minor with an F in the bass, and then a C with an E in the bass. Really cool. really neat way to use bass notes that have smart motion to them, or motion that you can sort of connect to without having it sound blocky. Very cool. Yay! Number 1. Number 2. Now, oddly enough, most of the songs tonight are from the 80s. Let's switch over here. Most of the tunes, by the way, cheers, everybody. Tonight is Crystal Light Fruit Punch and Wegmans Diet Ginger Ale, a combination, because it's that kind of week. Speaking of cheers, happy anniversary to the Presses, Bruce and Julie. Yay! Say 3 years together, and they're doing wonderfully well. So we're so proud of them. So proud of them.
The Presses are in the chat. All of them.
Please wish the Presses a happy anniversary. Some lovely folks that are showing us that it is possible to have a relationship like that, and cool kids and cool things and each other and whatever. Congratulations. Okay, I was saying, most of the songs today are from the 80s. Not all of them, but most of the songs today are from the 80s. And I was thinking, like, why amongst the most popular songs that you think were done by someone else, but are actually done or written by another person, why would they be so focused in the 80s? And I think it has to do with publishing. I think it has to do with this idea of songwriters and artists particularly getting a little bit more savvy as the 80s kind of flew through, and or songwriters getting more savvy as well to sort of say, like, hey, no, this is my song, this is not their song, or artists kind of holding on to their material in a way. That's just a theory. I have nothing to back that up, but I'm not sure why. I think 5 out of the 7 songs tonight are from the 80s, and they're very sort of popular examples, including this one. This next one is from the popular version, is from 1981, from a band called Soft Cell. They had an album called Non-Stop Erotic Cabaret. And the song is Tainted Love. And people think Tainted Love is by Soft Cell. Sure, why not? Well, no, originally it's by Gloria Jones from 1964. 1964, this guy named Ed Cobb wrote the song. She recorded it in 64. Then she re-recorded it in 1976 for an album she had that was called Vixen, neither of which was a hit. And then apparently that was being spun in the UK in clubs, and these two guys, Mark Almond and David Ball, who were design students, art students at the Leeds Art College, more cool musicians who are art students like Talking Heads and Pink Floyd, they had this band and they just started hearing this song and they thought it was cool to cover, so they covered it. And this thing is great because their version of it is great because it has that hook, that synth hook sound. It's a very early example of a synthesizer sound being the hook of the song. That boop da boop, boom 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 da boop da boop. It's this weird, like ringy metallic synth sound, and in many ways that's the hook. The cool thing also is the bass that they're using, the synth bass, which is a Korg synth bass, S-Y-N-T-H-E, synth bass, is the same synth bass that appears on the B-52 song Rock Lobster. Right? Same bass. They had no bass player. They had the keyboard player. And Kate Wilson, is that her name? She played bass using a Korg synth. So it's the same bass sound, basically, that's on Rock Lobster. Here it is from 1981, and or originally 1964. 1964, Tainted Love. And there's a cool thing that happens in this song. All the verses are in E minor. E minor. E minor. And then when it goes to the B section, it goes to E major. Once I ran from you, now I run from you. Listen to that change where you go from that minor to major. It's kind of cool. Here it is, Soft Cell doing their version of Gloria Jones's Tainted Love. Sometimes I feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share, it seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my light for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy can give you. Take my tears and that's not really all. Tainted love, whoa. Tainted love. Tainted love. Tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away. I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and they think love is to pray. But I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy can give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly all. Tainted love, whoa. Tainted love. Tainted love, whoa. Tainted love. Don't touch me, please. I cannot stand the way you tease. I love you though you hurt me so. Now I'm gonna pack my things and go. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy can give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly all. Tainted love. Tainted love. Whoa. Tainted love. Whoa. Tainted love. Tainted love. Oh, touch me, baby, tainted love. Oh, touch me, baby, tainted love. Whoa. Tainted love. Tainted love. Tainted love. Tainted love. Tainted Love. On the B-side of that was also another Motown song. I forget what it was, but it's pretty cool how they had these old tunes and people just assumed, as a kid, I had no idea until maybe, I don't know, a decade or so ago, that was an old song from 1964. Oh my gosh. Now, artists have certain signature songs, and sometimes the signature tune is a comeback tune. There's artists that may have, a period in their career where they're not super successful, and they come back and they achieve revitalized success, and then that revitalized success becomes their kind of signature song. And this next example is one that's just like that. This is from Tina Turner, from her comeback album in 1984. It was called Private Dancer, and the song is What's Love Got to Do With It, which is kind of like it's her big comeback, pretty much signature song. This set her off on the second part of her career, or maybe the third part or fourth part, depending how you're counting. And it's pretty amazing. But the song was originally done by a band called Bucks Fizz. Bucks Fizz, right? So it was written by Terry Britton and Graham Lyle. They offered it to Cliff Richard. He said no. Then it was given to Phyllis Hyman. She wanted to do the song, but Clive Davis said no, it's a terrible song. Then they offered it to Donna Summer. Donna Summer recorded it, but she never released it. And then the British pop group Bucks Fizz were offered it. They recorded their version of it, but they never released it because by the time they were about to release it, Tina Turner had recorded hers. So they did get theirs done before Tina did. And she had a #1 record with this, and at the time, this is amazing, she was the oldest solo female artist to score a #1 hit. Guess how old she was in 1984? Tina Turner. That's right, she was 44. She was 44 years old, and she was the oldest female to have a #1 hit at the time. I think that's been challenged. I think Madonna might have beat that. I'm not sure though. But it's cool. It's a fun tune. It's a fun tune which is pretty simple, and it's got a wonderful bridge that just comes out kind of out of nowhere. and just throws you for a loop in terms of its key center, but in a very fun way, and has a lovely key change at the end as well. So from 1984 and Tina Turner, or Bucks Fizz, but it's written by Terry Britton and Graham Lyle, which is really cool. Here it is. What's Love Got to Do with It? You must understand, though the touch of your hand makes my pulse react, that it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl, opposites attract, it's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Whoa, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I've read it someplace, I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? I've been taking on a new direction, but I have to say, I've been thinking about my own protection. Scares me to feel this way. Whoa, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's love got to do with it? What's love but a sweet old-fashioned notion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It's a great key change, great modulation there that goes. So we go from E minor to F sharp minor. We go up a step. So it's not a Christian modulation with a half step. It's a full step modulation. And my gosh, the way her career just kind of exploded after that. I mean, she appeared in a Mad Max movie. I mean, what else do you need after that? You know, come on, wearing chainmail and a guy with a flaming saxophone next to you. I mean, come on. What else do you need? What else do you need? Now, of all the tunes, this one might have surprised me the most. I think there's a couple that really surprised me, but I think this next one. This is a song that was originally recorded by a band called Arrows, a band I've never heard of. It's a British band. In 1975, they wrote, two guys, Alan Merrill and Jake Hooker, who I believe were in the band. They wrote this song, and it was their response to the Rolling Stones' It's Only Rock and Roll. The Stones have this song, It's Only Rock and Roll, but I Like It, being somewhat dismissive of, like, yeah, it's only rock and roll, but I like it, you know? Well, the guys from Arrows wrote this song, and their response was, no, it's not only rock and roll. I love rock and roll. They recorded it, they released it, did okay. They ended up getting a TV show. They ended up getting a TV show out of it. A British show. They were on a weekly show. This is what TV was like back in the 70s in England. If you were a band and you had a modest hit, you could have your own TV show. And guess who saw the TV show when she was on tour with the Runaways? That's right, Joan Jett. Joan Jett ended up liking this song. She re-recorded it. It's called I Love Rock and Roll, and it's kind of her signature song, even though she didn't write it. She first recorded the song in 1979 with two of the Sex Pistols, Steve Jones and Paul Cook. And it was released in 79, didn't do anything. And then when she formed the Blackhearts, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, she re-recorded the song with the Blackhearts and released it. Now, this tune has something fun that happens in it, in that it's a complex meter song. There's a bar of 3 that sneaks into the song. Maybe you didn't realize that, but it's the main riff is... Right? That's the main riff, which we're in 4. If you remember from my conducting from 3 episodes ago. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Dum dum, da da down down down, bam 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 bam. Right? But the next time it happens, they leave a beat out, so there's a bar of 3 in there. So it goes. Right? So ba da da dun 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 dun. So it's a bar of 3 or a bar of 7, depending on your counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1. It's really cool. It throws the beat around a little bit just to make it interesting. Here it is from either 75 or 79 or 81. Oh, and what's really cool is that this is one of 2 songs where the pronouns change, obviously, because guys sang it when they wrote it. Joan Jett takes the song. She sings about seeing a guy in a place, not a guy singing about a girl. It changes the whole dynamic of it, makes this empowering song, which at the time, female singers in the late 70s didn't quite sing like this in terms of, I see this guy, I'm going after him just to be intimate with him. And it was very empowering and cool. One of 2 songs today that changes pronouns and empowers the female singer therein. But this is the first one. We'll get to the next one in a little bit. Here it is from Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll. Sing along, please. Dancing there by the record machine. I knew he must have been about 17. The beat was going strong, playing my favorite song. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll, so put another dime in the jukebox, baby. So I got up and asked him his name. That don't matter, he said, 'cause it's all the same. I said, can I take you home where we can be alone? And next we were moving on, he was with me, yeah, me. Next we were moving on, he was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll, so put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Come and take your time and dance with me. Ow. So can I take you home where we can be alone? Next we were moving on, yeah, he was with me, yeah, me. We're moving on and singing that same old song, yeah, with me. Singing, I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with. I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with. I love rock and roll. So come and in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me. It's really fun. It's really fun. And the last time that jukeboxes, it was a dime for a song, was in the 60s, in the late 60s. I was trying to find out, okay, when were they, but they didn't like the word quarter, because like you couldn't make it fit into the cadence of the song. Put another quarter in the jukebox, baby. It didn't work. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Very cool. Joan Jett, still doing it too. Still doing it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee 3 years ago, I think it was. Very, very cool. Still doing it. That album, actually, that first album, I forget what the name of the album was, but it's amazing. There's like 3 hits on that record. It's crazy. Out of the gate she comes and she just destroys. Don't forget, if as you're watching, if you'd like to throw something into the virtual hat, which is over on PayPal or Venmo, you can go and do that. Every little bit helps. I so appreciate it. It's going to be a year that I've been doing this, which is kind of crazy. So I've so appreciated your guys' generosity and your capacity to make me be able to have food in the house. It's really tremendously wonderful. And there's been this lovely, consistent audience that has turned up for these shows, and I so appreciate it. So that being said, if you're new, welcome. You can always, that's what this is hanging there for, just to be kind of subtle yet annoying. It's kind of like my whole raison d'être. Moving on to song number 5. Now this is one that at the time, again, as a kid, it's from the 80s, from 1987, the popular version, although the original version is from 1962. It's by a guy named James Ray, written by Rudy Clark. George Harrison. You know George Harrison, one of the 4 Beatles. In 1963, he was visiting his sister who lives in Illinois. And this was about 4 or 5 months before they were on the Ed Sullivan Show. He was visiting his sister in Illinois. He went to a record shop and he started just buying records because he liked to find these old R&B records and obscure stuff. And he found this album by James Ray with the Hutch Davey Orchestra and Chorus. In 1963, he found this thing and he filed it. And the single that he had bought was Got My Mind Set on You. And it wasn't until 1987 he decided to record it on his album Cloud 9, another somewhat kind of comeback record. He had 1 or 2 albums before that didn't do that great. Cloud 9 did really well. It was really received well, and this was a big hit for him. He also had When We Was Fab. It was a great song on there. And so he re-recorded this. Now, if you go on YouTube, check out the James Ray version. I mean, you know the George Harrison version is very fun. The James Ray version from '62 is almost more like a mambo. It's like this. Get my mind set on you. And there's an extra verse. He says, everywhere I go, bad luck follows me. Every time I fall in love, I'm left in misery. George left that pre-verse off. He didn't use that at all. But it's pretty cool. This is a wonderful example of what a good musician, a good producer can do with a song and can hear the possibilities of a well-written tune and then can completely change it. Go, like I said, on YouTube, James Ray, Got My Mind Set on You. Listen to that version because it's pretty cool. Full orchestra. It's like 3.5, 4 minutes long. It's really, really fun. Very mambo-y kind of feeling thing. But here it is, George's version, because this is George's version. I Got My Mind Set on You. Oh, this video is great too, because it's just George Harrison. Let's go to the main camera here. George Harrison looks really upset throughout the whole thing. He's kind of just sitting there playing the guitar. And there's a point in the video where he looks off to the side, and you see this. It's about 2/3 of the way through. He looks off to the side, and then he looks back at the camera, and he kind of has this like pissed off look. Apparently, the director was trying to make him laugh, and the director off camera picked his own nose. The director's off camera picking his nose, and George, who could not be any cooler, is just like, yeah, that's hilarious. Great. And then there's a dance sequence that happens where they have this obvious dancer comes in and does this big elaborate flip and a whole dance sequence. That's not George Harrison, obviously. But to me, it looks like Bob Geldof. And every time I see this video, the guy that's dancing during the dance sequence is neither George Harrison nor someone who's supposed to look like George Harrison. It's Bob Geldof. And in my mind, in my hopest of hopes, I really hope that it is Bob Geldof, because wouldn't that be great? Here it is, Got My Mind Set on You. got my mind set on you. But it's gonna take the money, a whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money to do it right, child. It's gonna take time, a whole lot of precious time. It's gonna take patience and time. Oh, to do it, 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 to do it right, child. I got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. This time I know it's real, the feeling that I feel. I know if I put my mind to it, I know that I really can do it. Oh, I've got my mind set on you. 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 But it's gonna take a money, a whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money to do it right, child. It's gonna take a time, a whole lot of precious time. It's gonna take patience and time to do it, 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 to do it right, child. I got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. This time I know it's real, the feeling that I feel. I know if I put my mind to it, I know that I really can do it. But it's gonna take the money, a whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money to do it right, child. It's gonna take a time, a whole lot of precious time. It's gonna take patience and time. Oh, to do it, 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 to do it right, child. Set on you, set on you. I got my mind 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 set on you. I've got my mind set on you. Bob Geldof. Picture Bob Geldof. And that's who it looks like. Okay. Boy, we're just burning through. I'm going to do piano for this next one. This one, I couldn't believe. I mean, I keep saying that, but this one I really couldn't believe. And I'm gonna dive deep for 1 second here. We're going to stay on this main camera here so we can see the piano, if that's cool. Once again, if you're just joining, welcome. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, all the previous episodes are available on this channel, as well as my podcast, which happens every week. And I just wanted to mention, on Sunday, I'm doing an open mic, a virtual open mic for Godfrey Daniels, which is a wonderful club here in town. And I'm going to be premiering a brand new song, a song that I just wrote about 2 weeks ago. And I've never performed it in front of people before. And I'm going to premiere that Sunday. You can go to the Godfrey Daniels Facebook page, and they'll be live there. Me and I think 4 or 5 other artists, each doing 2 or 3 songs. Should be a lovely time. That's this Sunday. Okay. This next tune, if you had asked me, I would have said, of course, this is the first version of it. Their version was the first version. Of course, the Carpenters did this. No one did this before the Carpenters. There can't be another version of this particular song. This is like the Carpenters' thing. This is their song. I mean, come on. Well, no. Even though it was written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, the song Close to You was not first released and recorded by the Carpenters. It was first released and recorded by the actor Richard Chamberlain. That's right, the Thornbirds, Richard Chamberlain. He released the very first version of this song in 1963. Find that on YouTube, please, because it's pretty amazing. I always liked Richard Chamberlain. I thought he was a good actor and cool and everything. But the version's terrible. It's very, very, very white. It's very square, but kind of awesome in its own way. He recorded and released it. It wasn't a hit. Didn't do very well. Then Dionne Warwick recorded her version in 1963. And then Dusty Springfield recorded the song in 1964. And her version wasn't released until 1967. And it wasn't until the Carpenters, who used the Wrecking Crew, the famous Wrecking Crew band from L.A., they released their version in 1970, and it was a monster hit. It basically defined what sort of light rock was in the 70s. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the chords because they're kind of funky as to what's going on here. And again, I'm going to try to not dive too deep, but we are in the key of D, at least in my version, so I can sing this in some kind of thing, which, again, D major, right? Standard kind of major key. So now, when you have a major key and you have your scale, which is comprised of 7 notes, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In order to construct chords using those notes in that scale, what you do is you play a note, you skip a note, you play another note, you skip a note, and then you play a note. And that's how you build chords. I mean, that's one way to build chords. There's many ways, but that's the kind of standard way. So if we're in the key of D, and you take the first note in the scale, right? It's a D. You skip the second note. You play the third note. You skip the fourth note, and you play the fifth note. You get a major chord, a D major chord. That's the first chord in a D major scale, right? Now you do the same thing, and you play the second note. You skip the third. You play the fourth, skip the fifth, and play the sixth. You get a minor chord. And the way the scale is structured is you get this variation of major and minor chords that go up the scale. It's pretty cool. And this is sort of the basis of all harmony and sort of theory. It's very, very sort of rudimentary stuff. But if we're in the key of D, right, the first chord's major, second chord is minor, third chord is minor, fourth chord is major, fifth chord is major, sixth chord is minor, seventh chord is diminished, don't worry about that, but whatever, and then you go back to the 1 chord, okay? Which means that when you're playing standard kind of chord changes in a major key, without getting too crazy or jazzy or funky or weird, those chords are going to be those colors. Every time you play a D, it's going to be a major chord. Every time you play an A, it's going to be a major chord. That's the 5, into the 4, which is a major chord. You go to the 3rd, which is a minor, right? To the 2nd, which is a minor, to the 1st, which is a major, right? Standard stuff. Sounds pretty, sounds lovely, that's how it works. Well, we're in the key of D, and normally, when you have a song, the first chord of the song usually is going to be the 1 chord. So you would start the song by, I like pizza in bed, I like pizza in bed, right? 1, 4, 5, great, simple. Well, no, this song, which has this lovely, the first intro notes, why do birds, doesn't go to the 1 chord. Why do birds suddenly appear? No, it goes to the 4 chord, but with a major 7 in it. Why do birds suddenly? And now this is really cool what happens here. It goes to the 3 chord, which should be a minor, but they do a suspended, remember the suspended chord from The Who, right? Pinball Wizard, right? Since I was young, I played the silver ball, right? Suspended chord. So they play this F sharp major suspended to F sharp major, then they go to the minor. Again, I know there's a lot of info, and this is a very deep thing, but it's really cool. So the melody has this lovely, why do birds suddenly appear every time, minor, you are near? Now, it could have, using the same melody and the same chords that are in the D scale, you could have done, why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? But it's so much cooler to go, why do birds, that's your note, which is its second note in this chord. It's so cool and colorful and lovely and longing, and frickin' how David and Burt Bacharach are brilliant and they're geniuses, right? Birds suddenly appear, sus, every time minor, to another minor 6, back to the 4, back to the 4, and now we're back to 1, and we land on the 1 chord at the end of the phrase. It's the first time we get the 1 chord. It's so cool. It's so cool. Then we go to the bridge, and it's the same chords in the bridge. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. G, major 7 to F minor 7. So they but it's a B major 7 this time instead of a B minor 7. It's so cool. It sounds so simple, but the stuff that's going on there is just absolutely wonderful. So listen for this key center, this D, which we stay away from the 1 chord. We stay away for as long as we can, because again, the protagonist of this song is longing, right? It's like, why does this stuff happen? Why do these birds suddenly appear? Why do I hear music in my head? Why do they? Oh, because they want to be close to you, just like I want to be close to you. So it's this longing thing of you don't get home. You don't get home until all these chord voices go through, and then finally, okay, we're home. It's great. Listen to it. See if you can hear how the changes work. This is from 1970, but originally from 1963, and Richard Chamberlain. Oh my God, I love it. Here it is. Close to you. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair of gold and starlight in your eyes of blue. That's why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair and golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Close to you. Close to you. Why do birds suddenly appear every time You are near, just like me. They long to be close to you. There's nothing like a well-written song, man. Oh my gosh. No matter how much cheese baggage there is, no matter how much polyester has fluffed off on the arrangement and the recording of this song, it's a beautifully written and brilliant song. Absolutely brilliant. Now, not quite on the same level as that, but still a wonderful composition, which again shocked me that this wasn't hers. This is a song that Cyndi Lauper made popular. That's right, Mitch. You were right. Mitch was right. Birthday Boy was right. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, was not originally written, the first version was not by her. It was by this guy named Robert Hazard. In 1979, he wrote it. Again, he sang it. And this is that other example of changing the pronouns, really changes the song. The Robert Hazard version sort of is about, it's almost dismissive, like, you know, girls just want to have fun. It's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Whereas the Cyndi Lauper version is this like, yeah, that's what we want to do. This is empowering. We're allowed to have fun. Like, don't hold us down. Watch us be vibrant and awesome. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. What's really cool is the video for this, Cyndi Lauper's video, which at the time, when MTV just was exploding in 1983, I mean, it's like the heart of when MTV was becoming MTV and pretty much became MTV. If you look at that video today, first off, it has some really rudimentary computer graphics that apparently were just unbelievably complex at the time. There's a shot that kind of turned into like circles and stuff like that, and that's like, it basically blew the processors out. But if you look at the video for 1983 on MTV, the women that are in that video are incredibly diverse. And that was no accident. Cyndi Lauper said this in her book. I wanted Girls Just Want to Have Fun to be an anthem for women around the world, and I mean all women. And a sustaining message that we are powerful human beings. I made sure that when a woman saw that video, she would see herself represented, whether she was thin or heavy, glamorous or not, and whatever race she was. And there's this wonderful, empowering moment where Cindy's leading the line of women, and they're going through this barrage of like workers, like guys on their break or something, and they're kind of walking through, and she's like patting them and like making her way, and it's so cool. It's like, again, 1983. For those of you that may be younger in the audience might not realize, like, this was not something that was a common sort of thing you would see. Empowered women enjoying themselves. Like, what a concept. Captain Lou Albano, the famous wrestler, is in there, of course. And there is, on the Wikipedia page, there's an absolute mistake. It says Dan Aykroyd appears in the video as Beldar, but he doesn't. That's just a guy in a Conehead's mask. The confusion probably comes from the fact that the video equipment that was being used was borrowed from SNL. SNL let Cyndi Lauper's record company use their video equipment, which is like state-of-the-art at the time. And there is a Conehead bouncing around at the final shot, but it's not Dan Aykroyd. It's just a dude in a Conehead mask, a full Conehead mask, which is kind of fun. Plus the fact that at the end of the video, they are basically giving homage to the Marx Brothers' Night at the Opera, the stateroom scene when everybody's crammed into the stateroom. That made me very happy. The first time I saw the video, I hadn't seen the Marx Brothers movie. When I saw the Marx Brothers movie, I remember thinking like, oh, that ends just like the Cyndi Lauper video. Neat. Here it is from 1983. Her album was called She's So Unusual. I've mentioned this before, but there is a live concert of Cyndi Lauper in Paris at Le Zenith, which Rick Derringer plays guitar for that band. Sterling Campbell's on drums. It is an amazing show. She is on fire. It's like 1985 or something. It's amazing. Find it on YouTube. It's live at Le Zenith, I think, or live in Paris, one of those two. Absolutely brilliant. Here we go. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Please sing along. life. Oh, daddy dear, you know you're still number one, but girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have, that's all they really want. Some fun. When the working day is done, oh, girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have, girls, they wanna have fun. Girls wanna have. Some boys take a beautiful girl and hide her away from the rest of the world. I wanna be the one to walk in the sun. Oh, girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have, that's all they really want. Some fun. When the working day is done, oh, girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have, girls, they wanna have fun. Girls wanna have. They just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, oh, girls just wanna have fun. They just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, oh, girls just wanna have fun. Everybody. They just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, they just wanna, girls just wanna have fun. Cyndi Lauper still doing it also amazingly, still performing, still singing like a monster, still being as cool as ever. Yay, Cyndi. Yay for the diversity from 1983. Check out the video. It's like you go, oh yeah, right, wow, you didn't see that shade of people on MTV in 1983. Good for her. Good for you for tuning in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, if you can, throw something over there. More important, head on over to Godfrey Daniels' Facebook page Sunday night at 7 o'clock. I'm going to be premiering a brand new song of mine called All These Things. I'm very excited. I'll probably do 2 songs, maybe 3. I'm not sure how much time there's going to be, but at least 2. So I'll do something you know and something you don't know, because I'm very excited to premiere this song. And yeah, thanks to Ms. Info as ever for watching and helping. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Go to geologicpodcast.com and check out the show there. And yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great, safe, wonderful weekend. Bye. Just wanna